Chapter 7 of the Me Addiction is called Me-nuff. It's a play on the word of enough. What is enough for you? What is enough for me? Can you imagine being in the garden? There's all these animals around you. There's all these flowers. Everything's perfect. And there's plenty of fruit. There's fruit all over the garden. But there's just one that you're not supposed to touch. One you're not supposed to eat. And yet you think you have to have that. We live in a world where we're bombarded with ideas of things we have to have. And we think that if we have more, our life will be more. We challenge you in this chapter to see that maybe less is more, especially when you simplify enough that you can focus on God and have Him in your life.
Chapter 7, Me-enough. This chapter really deals with the idea of we want more and more. That as we look around us, our appetites get bigger and our desires for things grow. There was a study done a few years ago where people who went into a mall and did some window shopping were found to want more and more and more. And those who didn't go window shopping were more satisfied, more content with their lives. And I think it's a lot like that. This chapter really deals with that idea of, do we really need more, or can we live with less?
As you look at what happened around the tree in the garden,
It's good.
you've got Eve who looked at the fruit, and the word is literally she gazed intently at it. I don't know what it was about that fruit. I mean, we understand food that sometimes we just want to look at and gaze at and we want it. Something about that fruit caught her attention, and once it got her attention, I mean,
That's great.
she was gone, you know. Why was it that they had to go after something when they had all the other fruit in the garden? It's amazing to me.
Yes.
They've got all this other stuff. They had each other. They had God. But Satan says, well, here's something. And he said, you shouldn't eat of this because you'll become like him.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And he starts messing with her a little bit. And for some reason, they have to go outside of what they have, thinking they've missed out on something. Do you ever see that?
Oh man, that's great. I love the image of me addiction or sin being something you ingest. It's something outside of you, and you make choices, and you take it inside of you, and you think it's going to nourish you, and it actually leaves you hungry and empty. And I love that what we really need, the resources we really need are in God alone. God's way, God's direction, God's heart, but we ingest sin. We take it inside of us thinking it's going to fill our needs, and it doesn't.
Yeah, you know, Glenn mentioned a minute ago that these appetites are not necessarily bad.
Right.
And the problem isn't what's out there. The things that God makes are good. The problem is what's in here. It's this dis-ease that we have,
That's good.
this me addiction.
Right.
And so we have to learn how to keep that in check. And the one we encourage you to look at to learn how to do that is Jesus, because he kept it
Yes.
perfectly in check all of his life.
I love that. It's good.